the song Wish List is like that chorus. I don't know if you've seen the movie Happy Gilmore, but he has this happy place, like where he goes into this utopia of this is exactly what he would want. And this
On
is
a
where he
crisp autumn
escapes
night
to
in Philadelphia, the world seemed to quiet down just long enough for two of its busiest stars to breathe. Inside Jason and Kylie Kelce's home nestled on a peaceful Philly lane, the warm glow of lanterns flickered across the walkway, welcoming close friends and family to what would become one of the most memorable Halloween evenings in recent memory. There were no flashing cameras, no stage lights, no red carpet, just laughter, conversation, and the kind of intimacy that makes you forget you're surrounded by some of the most recognizable faces on the planet. This was not a night about fam, it was about family, love, and connection. And at the heart of it all stood Travis Kelce and his fiancée, Taylor Swift, glowing like two people who have finally found the balance between the spotlight and serenity. Before the festivities even began, a single photo taken by friends in their newly decorated home sent the internet spinning. In the image, Taylor, her arm wrapped tenderly around Travis's neck, smiled softly as she held a cocktail in one hand. Dressed in a champagne satin gown that shimmered in the low light, she looked effortlessly stunning, her expression relaxed and real. Travis, with his easy grin, leaned in close. The love between them was unmistakably an unguarded moment of pure affection. Taylor has never been happier, a close source revealed. There's something different about her lately. She's at peace. She's grounded, and she's completely herself with Travis. That contentment was on full display. At the Kelce family Halloween gathering, a night that felt more like a scene from a classic family film than a celebrity event. The Jason Kelce estate glowed like a constellation of its own that evening. Guests arriving were greeted by soft acoustic music drifting through the air and the scent of roasted vegetables and spiced cider wrapping around them like a familiar blanket. Inside, the decor was pure autumn romance. Clusters of candles sat low on tables, flickering against antique brass holders. Decorative pumpkins lined the hearth. Roses and dahlias spilled from ceramic vases, and strands of warm bistro lights crossed the ceiling in soft arcs. It was cozy without being overdone elegance, wrapped in simplicity. The guest list read like a mix of football royalty and family comfort. Patrick and Brittany Donna and Ed Kelce, Scott and Andrea Swift, all under one roof, mingling with laughter and ease. Yet, even in the midst of the crowd, Travis and Taylor seemed to move in their own orbit, grounded and completely at ease. Taylor, in her midnight blue sequined gown that shimmered like starlight, looked every bit the modern-day movie heroine. Her hair fell in loose waves, her lips painted the signature red that's become as iconic as her music. Travis, on the other hand, looked effortlessly dapper in a dark suit with a subtle floral pattern jest, but still very much himself. Together, they exuded a kind of quiet confidence that needed no performance. They weren't putting on a show. One guest said it was just them hugging family, laughing, passing plates, and really being present. You could tell they just wanted something normal, something warm. The music floated between classic rock, gentle jazz, and a few of Taylor's acoustic favorites played not by a band, but from a modest speaker tucked behind a vase of roses. The sound mixed seamlessly with the murmur of conversation and the occasional burst of laughter that carried from the kitchen. Dinner was a hearty, home-cooked affair, roasted root vegetables, fall salad with toasted pecans, and a decadent pumpkin bread pudding for dessert. The farmhouse-style dining table doubled as a buffet, lined with candles and platters that invited guests to help themselves. Servers moved quietly through the rooms, topping off wine glasses and offering warm cider infused with orange peel and cinnamon sticks. A bar trolley tucked near the corner held a few handmade cocktails and bottles of local bourbon, sparking a friendly debate among the men about which drink paired best with the meal. But even amid all the chatter and clinking glasses, it was the small, unspoken moments that told the real story of the night. Between conversations and laughter, Taylor and Travis shared quiet pockets of tenderness. In one photo from the evening, the couple sit close together on a couch, her arm resting on his shoulder while his hand gently holds the small of her back. They're leaning in, faces just inches apart, caught mid-laughter as if sharing a private joke only they understand. The candlelight flickers softly around them, making the image look more like a memory than a photo, a glimpse into a love that feels natural, unforced, and deeply genuine. Guests later recalled how the affection between them never felt performative. It wasn't a show for anyone, said a family friend. They just really liked being near each other. You could feel it. At one point, Taylor slipped away from a group conversation to help an older relative find a sweater. gently draping it over their shoulders with an affectionate touch. Travis, watching from across the room, smiled in quiet admiration before returning to chat with his brother. Jason and Travis traded their usual playful banter, teasing each other about football drills and childhood memories, while Taylor and her mother Andrea exchanged knowing smiles from across the room. The Kelce parents, Donna and Ed, floated easily between conversations, handing out hugs and advice with equal enthusiasm. Scott Swift, ever the proud dad, sat back and soaked it all in, a soft smile tugging at his face every time his daughter's laughter filled the room. For a few golden hours in fame took a backseat to something much more valuable: family connection. Plates were passed, stories were shared, and the laughter that rose from the living room was the kind that leaves everyone a little lighter. It didn't matter that the evening was hosted by NFL royalty or attended by one of the most famous women in the world. What mattered was the feeling, unmistakable sense of belonging that settled over the home like a warm blanket. When the night drew to a close, Taylor and Travis found themselves near the window, silhouetted by the soft light of lanterns outside. Travis leaned down to whisper something that made her laugh, and for that moment, the rest of the world seemed to disappear. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't staged. It was simply real. Perhaps it's no coincidence that Halloween has always been a special time for the Kelce family. A recently unearthed photo of Travis from his high school days resurfaced online this week, reminding everyone that the NFL star's Halloween charm runs deep. In the photo, a teenage Travis stands in costume as Luigi from the Super Mario video game series, complete with a fake mustache and overalls. Next to him stands his classmate Bianca, dressed as Rosa Parks. Both were declared winners of their school's 2005 Halloween costume contesta, fact proudly documented in their yearbook. Travis and Jason reminisced about that moment on their New Heights podcast last year. Jason, who, dressed as Mario, teased his younger brother about his less than thrilled expression in the photo. "You can see how ecstatic I was to be Luigi," Travis joked sarcastically, laughing as the old image flashed on the screen. Their mom, Donna Kelce, later recalled the scene, saying, "They were both over 6 feet tall at that point. Seeing two giant boys dressed as Mario and Luigi, it was hilarious." Jason, always quick with humor, admitted he was a little salty that his brother won the contest, to which Travis replied with a grin, "Hey, Luigi finally got his moment." The brothers also revealed that their father, Ed, was not the biggest fan of Halloween. "He's the Grinch of Halloween," Travis said, laughing. "He'd actively reject trick-or-treaters if they didn't meet his candy requirements." Jason added, "He'd critique their costumes before giving them candy." It was brutal. The story had everyone in stitches, a perfect reminder that for all the fame in football, the Kelces are still, at heart, a family that knows how to laugh at itself. As the candles burned low and the last guests trickled out into the cool night, the glow from inside the Kelce home spilled softly onto the front steps. The laughter, the warmth, the love, it all lingered in the air like the final note of a song you don't want to end. Travis and Taylor stood side by side at the doorway, waving goodbye to friends, their hands brushing as they exchanged a look that spoke volumes. They weren't just two global icons sharing a holiday. They were two people building something real, something private, something lasting. It's easy to get lost in the spectacle of celebrity love stories. But what makes this one different is its simplicity. For all their success, for all the flashing lights and headlines, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift seem most content when the cameras are off, just to people surrounded by family, sipping cider, laughing with loved ones, and finding joy in the smallest, sweetest moments. In a world that thrives on noise, they've found their quiet hand. It's beautiful.